Today on Stock Charts in Focus, we're back with another new feature from our latest product release. This time, we're touring you around the new and improved, totally redesigned edit view for your SharpCharts chart lists. Now, of course, I think that chart lists are one of the most important features on all of Stock Charts, and the new and improved edit view is going to make it even easier to manage, maintain all those chart lists, all those saved charts that you have in your account. We've streamlined that process, made this page even easier to use than ever before. So you're going to see it all on today's show. Of course, you know what it is. It's all new. It's all here. It's Stock Charts in Focus. All right, my friends, welcome to the show, Stock Charts in Focus. Of course, our product focus show here on the channel where we dig into the site, dive into the tools, show you around the features, and ultimately help you get more value out of Stock Charts. That's our mission here every Friday, 3 p.m. Eastern Time, up on the live channel, and then up on our YouTube channel after that, and the on-demand platform at StockChartsTV.com. Lots of ways to watch. My name is Grayson Roze, Vice President of Operations here at StockCharts.com, and it is great to be back with you for another new feature reveal from our latest product launch. Now, of course, if you caught the show last week, we talked a lot about the latest product release that just rolled out site-wide. Pretty much every corner of the site has got something updated, something added, something redesigned with this new product launch. We've codenamed it Bainbridge. You might hear that terminology around the site if you follow our Chart Watchers newsletter, for instance. We talked about this a little bit there, and we of course highlighted it on the show last week. So there is a ton to explore. Before we kick off today's show, we are going to take a quick look at how you can learn more about all those new tools and features that just rolled out with that Bainbridge product launch. But on today's show, we're really going to dig into another one of those new features specifically, that being the edit view. Now, if you know me, you know that I think chart lists are pretty much the most important feature on Stock Charts. This is how you save and organize all of those different charts that you're watching. You can create lists for any different case, whether you're creating a watch list, a portfolio, even just some sort of list to analyze the markets, keep an eye on a specific set of indexes or a specific set of stocks or ETFs, anything that you can think of, you can probably do it with chart lists. And especially when you add in features like our chart list reports, which gives you end of day or end of week summaries for all of those lists. Chart lists really are kind of the heartbeat of Stock Charts, if you will. It's really one of the main reasons that you become a member, being able to save and organize those charts. One of the most important things that you have attached to your chart lists is actually the edit page. How do you sort of maintain those lists? How do you move symbols from one list to another? How do you edit names, add comments, change list names, all of that good stuff? So the edit page is actually one of the most important little features of chart list. It's not as much a tool, more of kind of a structural piece of those chart lists, if you will. But that edit page is an incredibly important one. So as part of this new product launch, we've totally redesigned this page. We've streamlined it. We've made it easier than ever to use. You can actually now just type directly in the table to add comments and change names. It's easier to add symbols to your list. We've repositioned where the buttons are to make things kind of work a little bit better for you. So lots of exciting changes that we've rolled out here with this new edit view. Very excited to dig into it today. Of course, that's just one of many of the new features that have rolled out. So before we jump into that edit view and take a look at the meat of today's show, let's jump over to the site. I want to show you how to find out more about everything that we've just launched on Stock Charts. Here we go. So we're starting here on the dashboard, everybody, and this is actually going to be a page that we come back to kind of kick off the most important part of today's show, taking a look at the edit view. But over here in the member tools section, I do want to point out, if you scroll down all the way to the bottom here, you can see that there's an entry for what's new. Now, if I give this a click, that's going to take me over to the what's new area of Stock Charts. If you're paying attention also to the top of the page, you can see that you can just go to stockcharts.com/new to get here directly. Now, this is kind of a long list of everything that we've been doing around Stock Charts over the past couple of years since we started this page. And up at the top, you can see that our last two product launches are featured in sort of, pretty heavily here. So we had our Alki product launch that rolled out this past spring, and we've just had what we call our Bainbridge product launch that rolled out just last week. So you can get sort of the quick highlights if you read this card, but if you hit that Explore the New Features button, this will tell you more about every feature that we've just rolled out around StockCharts. So of course, last week's show, we dug into that chart panels feature, bringing those chart panels directly to your dashboard. Very, very cool, something that I am really enjoying. Today, we're going to dig into that edit view, streamlined edit view for your SharpCharts chart lists. But you can read up on everything else that we've done here. New intraday chart periods. We've got performance view now in ACP. We've actually got price alerts displayed directly on your ACP charts automatically. Very, very cool feature. Excited to show you that one in a couple of weeks. We've got intraday RRG charts and a whole bunch more down below. So you can come here, stockcharts.com/new. Give that big green button a click there, big blue button was it, and you can read up on all of these new tools and features that we've rolled out around the site. There is a lot here to cover. Of course, we're going to be kind of carving off different pieces of this and highlighting things on different episodes of this show, Stock Charts in Focus, over the next couple of weeks. But if you want to get ahead of that and read up on everything that has just happened, definitely come back and check out that What's New page. And the other nice thing I will point out, you can check out what we did this past spring with our Alki product release. That was another big one. Brought things like scheduled scans, new chart list views, more data options to summary view. There was a ton that we did with that Alki product launch as well. Earnings dates right on your charts. So definitely check out that one as well. But stockcharts.com/new gets you right to this page. You can give those big blue buttons a click, not green ones. Give those big blue buttons a click and read up on some of the things that have been happening around the site this year. So with that out of the way, let's dive into the new edit view. We're going to jump back over to the dashboard. And first and foremost, we're talking about chart lists, so I want to make sure that you know how to get to your chart lists. By the way, if you're watching today's show and you're wondering what this page is, you've never seen this page before, this is what we call the dashboard. It's actually a customizable page, the first one that you see when you log into your StockCharts account. All of these different panels are customizable. You can really kind of build this page out to be exactly the way that you want to see it. We talked about this quite a bit on last week's show, running through these chart panels that you can see now in the middle of my dashboard. So you can set all this up exactly the way that you want it. I've set up my dashboard in a specific way, but up here in the top right corner, you have all these different preferences for how to set up your dashboard. This is, by the way, the first page that you see when you log into StockCharts. It is a members only page. So if you're not currently a StockCharts member and you're wondering why you can't access this page, that is why. You can sign up for a free trial and enjoy this page, set it up, configure the dashboard in exactly the way that you want. But that is kind of what this page is. So I'm bringing this up because the chart list button up at the top is probably the primary way that you're going to access your chart lists. The dashboard is actually one of the best ways to access all of the chart lists from your account. So if you give this button a click right up at the top of the page, that's going to quickly scroll you down to the bottom where all of your chart lists are listed. Now, I do want to also show you, though, from any page around StockCharts, if you quickly want to get to your chart lists, you can open up this menu at the top when you're logged into your account, and there is a Your Chart List button right up at the top of that menu. So that's another way that you can get to your chart lists. If you're here on the dashboard, though, I like to just give this big button a click, and that takes me right down to all of my chart lists. So that's how you can access your chart lists here on the dashboard. So to dig into the edit view that we've just rolled out, what I've actually gone ahead and done is created a new chart list in my account that's got nothing in it. We're going to start from scratch today, really kind of build up and show you all the new features of this edit page. So I'm going to give this a click. I'm actually going to jump right over to the edit list button for that new chart list that I've created in my account. And as you can see, this is a totally blank chart list. So here we are now on the new edit view for your chart lists. If you have a chart list that has nothing in it, it's going to look something like this. Before you actually populate that list with some symbols, you're just going to kind of have this big green message prompting you to add some symbols to that list. The only thing you can do really at this point is edit the name. One of the cool features that we've added now to this edit page is the ability to just click right on pretty much anything that you want to change, anything that you want to edit, and you can start typing to edit that stuff. So you'll see that in just a second with the table. But when you first create one of these chart lists, it's going to be empty. It's going to have nothing in it. Really, all that you can do is edit the name. Editing your chart list name is as easy as, like I said, just clicking on the name and typing what you want. So anything that you want to change this to, you can just click right on that name, hit save when you're done, or cancel if you want to get back out of it. And it is that easy to edit your chart list names. Once you've created one of these chart lists, though, you're going to need to fill it in with some symbols to access the bulk of the features on this page. So we've got two different ways to do that. One of them is going to be there all the time. That's that add symbols button right up at the top. But within that welcome message that we have, that big green message, you also have a prompt to add some symbols. So we're going to give that a click. Now, adding symbols to a chart list, you can do this in a couple of different ways. You can do one at a time. You can do multiple symbols at a time in a whole list. You can add them from a predefined group, or you can upload symbols from a CSV file. So let's walk through a couple of those. If you've got a specific symbol in mind that you want to add to a new chart list, you can just stay on that one tab, and you've got a couple of different prompts in here. You can type in any symbol in this box. For instance, we can type in Netflix. You'll see that you actually get the auto suggest box there, so that it can give you some simple suggestions as you type. So actually, if I type in something like N, you'll see that we've got a whole bunch of those. So you can type in a single symbol that you want to add. You can customize the name of that symbol, or you can leave this field blank. If you leave that chart name field blank, then we're just going to take the symbol and the company name, or the fund name, whatever the symbol name is, and we're going to put those two together and save that new symbol with those as the chart name. Comments, kind of the same. You can add a comment here when you first add this single symbol, or you can leave that blank and add comments later. So this is kind of your first option. If you just want to type in one additional ticker symbol, you can type that in the box, hit add chart, and that's just going to add that one symbol to your new list. If you've got a whole list of symbols that you want to start with, you can select the multiple tab. This is going to give you a larger text input box, and you've got a couple of different options for sort of interacting with this. You can type in a list of ticker symbols, MSFT, AAPL, NFLX, anything that you want. You type in that whole list of ticker symbols right in this box. You can also copy and paste a list of ticker symbols into this box. So if you've got symbols from another list, or symbols from social media, or anything like that, symbols from a spreadsheet, you can just copy and paste that list of ticker symbols right into this box and hit add charts. Now you've got two different options. You can either separate everything with a comma, as you can see, like that, or you can separate everything with line breaks. If you hit enter, you can put one symbol on each line. A couple of different ways to type some symbols into that box. But you type in your symbols, you hit add charts, and that's going to add all of those symbols that you have selected in bulk to this list. Now we're going to skip over the from group for a second. We're going to actually jump over to upload CSV. Your fourth and final option is going to be upload CSV. This is kind of the obscure one. If you do have a CSV file that you want to upload symbols from, you can do that right here. Choose file, select the file that you want, and you can put that up there. We'll grab all the symbols out of that CSV file, put them in your chart list for you. The next up option, though, is from group, and that's actually how we're going to build out our list today. That's why we skipped over it briefly. So from group allows you to add symbols to a chart list from a predefined group. And we've got tons and tons of these different predefined groups for you to choose from. These are things like the Dow, the S&P 500, the S&P 600, all of those kind of predefined groups that you generally think of, indexes, sectors, that kind of thing. We've generally got predefined groups that you can select from. So up here in the top menu, you can see that you've got a whole bunch of different predefined groups to choose from. Again, things like the Dow 30, the Dow Industrials. You've got all of the S&P indexes, the 100, 400, 500, and 600, the NASDAQ 100, even things like the TSE 300. You've also got some sector options, and if you want to pull all of the symbols from our market summary page, you can also do that with this additional option down at the bottom. It's really easy to add any of the symbols from any of these groups. All you've got to do is select it from the menu and hit add charts right down at the bottom. Couldn't be easier. Now you do also have one other option. If you want to add stocks from a specific industry group, you can do that for either the US or Canada. So you choose your country right here. If you select US, for instance, you can then select any industry group from within those different sectors of the market, and you can very quickly add all of the symbols from, for instance, the publishing industry group. That would be one that you could choose from. So you select anything from there and then hit Add Charts, and that's automatically going to populate that chart list. So for the sake of our demo today, we're actually going to stay on that S&P 100 list. We're going to add all 100 stocks from the S&P 100. We're going to select that from the menu, hit Add Charts, and there we go. Check that out. We now have a full and complete chart list full of 100 stocks that make up the S&P 100, kind of the mega cap index. So now we can start to dive into some of the other features of this page. We'll actually start up at the top. Now that we've got a specific group in mind, I'll show you how this works. We can come up here and do S&P 100 stocks, hit save, and there we go. We've now edited that chart list name. Instead of something generic like my new chart list, we now have a name that is specific to the actual components of this list. Super easy to edit this stuff. All you got to do is click, type, and hit save, and you are off to the races. If you want to add any additional symbols to this list, of course, you've got that Add Symbols button right up at the top, and we'll actually see this a little later on. You've got one duplicated down at the bottom of this page as well. The other action that you can take right up here at the top is send to friend. If you do have another chart list or another StockCharts member that you want to send this chart list to, you can hit that send to friend button, type in their user ID, and we'll actually send them a copy of this chart list right to their account. So a very cool little feature there if you want to share things between StockCharts members. From there, we kind of dig into the most important features of this page. So a couple of things that we have done. Two big additions to the table. One, we've made this what we call a data table, which means you can actually now sort this table in a couple of different ways. If you want to sort it by name, you can sort it from top to bottom alphabetically in either direction by simply clicking on the header. If you want to sort it by symbol, you also have that option as well. So you can actually sort this table. One of the other things that we've added is a filter box. So you can now type in, for instance, ABV, and you can see that that's going to filter this table down. Especially if you have longer lists, this makes it really easy to find things from that list. So that new filter box, a nice handy little feature there. The other big thing that we've added to this table is the ability, just like that chart list name up at the very top, the ability to simply click on anything that you want to edit and start typing. So for instance, in the comments field, you can see that for all of these, we've created this new chart list. We've used that from group option, so there's no comments attached to any of these. But if we want to add a comment to any of these charts, when we hover over that field, you'll see that there's this little pencil icon indicating that we can actually just click and start to type. So when I click right there, you'll see that one of those text entry boxes pops up, and I can now add my comments right here, hit save, and there we go. I've now added a comment to Accenture. Super, super easy. Anything that you want to add to this table or edit in this table, all you have to do is click again to edit. There we go. Hit save. We've added another comment to that symbol as well. The same goes for the name field. So if you do want to change the name of any of your saved symbols, you can simply click on that name, start typing. Maybe you want this to just be the symbol, for instance, or maybe you want to strip out the symbol and leave just the company name in here. You can see it's really, really easy to edit these. You can just type in that box, hit enter, and it's going to save your comments. For any of these in the name field, if you want to get out of this, you can either click away from that field or you can hit escape. In either case, we're going to kind of take the focus away from that box, get you out of edit mode. So editing things from edit view has gotten even easier. You can now just kind of click anything that you want and start to edit. One of the other big additions that we've made to this page, other sort of big changes, is we've moved the action buttons. So one of the other big features that you do with that edit page is moving symbols from list to list, deleting symbols in bulk, deleting either one at a time or a whole bunch, moving, merging, copying, applying a specific chart style to everything in the list or a specific set of symbols in the list, those kinds of actions that you take with different things that you've saved into a chart list, we've made it easier to access those action menus. So we've got a couple of different ways to do this. First and foremost, you'll see that right up at the top of the page, we have a select all button. Now that is going to do, as it implies, the select all function, check everything in the list. If you want to select everything in the list, you can use that button, or you can manually select a specific set of symbols that you want to interact with using those checkboxes on the left. You'll see that as soon as you start to check different things in this table, this row of buttons now lights up. You can actually interact with this row of buttons. Previously, this row of buttons was all the way at the bottom of the page and it was really, really difficult to access. Now, this row of buttons actually floats there for you. So as you scroll down this page, that row of buttons will be sticky, if you will, and it'll actually stay there. So you can sort of go all the way down your chart list, continue to check different things that you want, and then interact with them using those buttons right up at the top. Now, the buttons you have available to you, you can delete anything that you have checked. You can copy the selected charts from one list to another. You can move the selected charts from one list to another, or you can merge the selected charts from one list to another. We'll walk through those in just a second to give you a little bit more detail on what each one of those does. The last option you do have is apply style to everything in the list. So if you select a whole bunch of charts out of this list, hit that big purple button. This is going to let you choose a specific chart style out of your account and then apply that chart style to all of those selected items in the list. A nice feature if you want to kind of move things around and then make sure that they're consistent. Everything in the list is using the exact same chart style, or if you have a specific one in mind that you want to change or set to a saved symbol, you can do that really easily. That last option, by the way, is a little more specific. That's going to remove numbers from everything in the list. So especially if you've used the sort in or name in sorted order feature on the summary view, that's going to actually add numbers to the names. And so in that specific case, we do have another button right there. So if that doesn't make any sense to you, you can probably ignore that one. But if you ever do want to remove all the numbers from your saved chart names, you do have that button as well. This one's kind of intelligent in the sense that it's going to look and see if you do actually have numbers in your saved chart names. And if you don't, it's going to basically keep that one grayed out. So that's why that's disabled at the moment. So those are your actions. Now, just to clarify how each one of these works, let's jump back over to copy, move, and merge and kind of walk through what those different options mean. So we've selected a couple of different charts in this list. We're going to hit that copy button, and that's going to prompt us to choose a list that we want to copy these charts to. In the copy case, what we're going to do, we're going to take everything from the existing list, the list that we're currently working out of, and we're going to make a copy of that and put it in the new chart list. So if we wanted to copy all of these charts over to, for instance, my watch list, you can see that we can select that list, hit copy, and that's going to leave these charts in this list. It's going to make a copy, and it's going to put those copies in the new list. If we wanted to move them from one list to another, so the charts will actually disappear out of this list and they will move over to another list, we can use the move option. Move is going to move those charts. So they will be removed from the list that you're currently working out of. This list will get smaller, and those will actually move over to any list that you select from your account. So we could do the exact same thing. We can move these charts to my watch list, for instance. There's kind of a middle ground option, which is called merge. So in the merge case, we're basically going to do copy, but ignore duplicates. So if you've got two lists that you're working out of, maybe you've got a list full of scan results and then you've got your active watch list. That's actually the case that I run into quite a bit personally using StockCharts. If you've got a list full of stocks, you select the ones that you want to move over to another list and you select merge. What we're going to do is we're going to leave those charts alone in the first list. So this is basically going to duplicate the copy function. We're going to make a copy of all of those charts that you've selected, and we're going to copy those over to the new list. But if any of those symbols already exist in that new list, we're going to ignore those. So that's where they get kind of merged in. Instead of just being a bulk copy that might create duplicates in that new list that you're moving everything over to, with the merge case, you won't create duplicates in that list that you're moving things over to. So that's kind of the distinction there between copy, move, and merge. If you just want to push everything over to that new list, copy works pretty well if you want to leave them in the first list as well. If you want to move them right over, you use that move function. But if you're worried about ending up with duplicates, you can use this merge function to make sure that you don't end up with duplicates in that list that you are moving things over to. Now, we're going to actually select all and then unselect them. So we're kind of back to where we started. A couple of those actions we've added to individual charts in this list as well. So you've got two different ways to do this. You can either select things over on the left and then use that floating row of buttons, or if you've got one specific symbol saved to this chart list that you want to either delete or copy or move, you do have those actions over here on the right side as well. So if we wanted to delete Apple, for instance, we can hit that delete button. You'll see that we are prompted, do you actually want to delete this chart? We hit delete chart and that one is going to be gone. We can do the exact same thing for copy. We can copy that one symbol over to another list, or we can move that one symbol over to a new list. So a couple of those actions we've actually built in here directly to the table. Makes it really, really easy to access those if you're just moving one symbol at a time. Again, at the bottom, as I mentioned, we do have a duplicate add symbols button. So you've got a couple of different places where you can do that. We've got the one up at the top, but if you do get all the way to the bottom of your chart list and you say, hey, you know what, there's a couple of symbols that I want to add to this, or maybe you want to grab another predefined group and throw those symbols in here, you can always give that a click, and that's going to launch that exact same window that we started with. That add symbols menu gives you those different options for adding one symbol at a time, multiple symbols at a time, everything from a group, or uploading a CSV. So that duplicate add symbols button down at the bottom. Especially for longer lists, this is really nice. You don't have to do quite as much scrolling. Once you get to the bottom of this page, by the way, you do have an option to add ChartList Notes for this specific list. And again, you can just click here to start typing in that box. Here are some great notes. Woo! Hit save, and there you go. Now you've got some notes created for that chart list overall. So you can add either comments to specific save charts in a list or notes to a list as a whole. That is down there at the bottom. And then also down here at the bottom is a quick little back to top function. So if you want to get right back to the top of the page, give that a click. That'll take you right back up. So that's pretty much everything from our new edit view. It's gotten even easier to use, a little bit faster, a little more streamlined. Being able to click directly in the table to edit some of these different things has made this page a lot easier to use. And especially making those action buttons floating there so you can access them no matter where you are in your chart list. I'm finding that that has been a huge boost for my own chart list management workflow. If you're watching this and you're wondering about ACP, we will be bringing some of these things over to ACP as well, some of these different interactive features there. So this is for SharpCharts ChartLists. If you're a SharpCharts user, you can start to enjoy this new edit view right now, and keep an eye out for more of these kind of changes over in ACP as well. They are a little bit different, the placement and some of the interfaces and things like that. They're kind of similar concepts, but we are looking at bringing some of this stuff over to ACP as well. So stay tuned for more on that. I want to thank you though for joining me on today's show. Hopefully this has helped give you a sense of kind of one of the cool things that we have changed with that new product launch. I'm really enjoying the edit view. Hopefully you'll go check it out and have some fun playing around with that. I think you'll find that it's really a streamlined view. Makes it even easier to do all those different chart list management actions. So very, very cool there. But definitely go to stockcharts.com/new. Check out everything that we've just launched with the product launch overall, that new Bainbridge product release. There is a ton there. And of course, we are going to continue to highlight it all on Stock Charts in Focus over the next couple of weeks. Each episode of the show, every Friday, 3 p.m. Eastern, we'll be highlighting different tools and features and updates that have rolled out with this new product launch. So we've got some ACP stuff lined up for next week. We'll have some fun talking about those changes on the show next Friday. But if you want to kind of get ahead of the show every week, you can definitely check out that product release notes page there at stockcharts.com/new. Also, I would encourage you to go back and check out what we launched with Alki with that spring product launch. There's a card for that just below the first one. So as we kind of demonstrated there at the beginning of the show, you can check that out and enjoy reading up on some of the things that launched this spring. My name is Grayson Roze, Vice President of Operations here at StockCharts.com. It's been great to be with you to tour you through some of these new features, highlight those edit view changes. Hopefully you enjoy playing around with those this weekend. We'll be back, of course, next Friday with another episode of the show. But until then, have a great week and chart on, my friends.
Hey guys, Dave Keller here with StockCharts.com. Thanks so much for watching our video. If you enjoyed it, and we hope you did, hit the like button right below. Also, we have so much new content every day. Consider subscribing to the channel. Just hit the subscribe button in the video or right below. Thanks for watching. Stay safe. Have a fantastic day.